Hey everyone. You know, I didn't get a chance to really do this yesterday, so the way I'm going to do it is show you some video footage while I'm talking. It might loop over a little bit, but I wanted to show you a little bit of video footage of something that's kind of weird. And I don't know if any of you have dealt with this in the past when it comes to basically being a subscriber to a comic book or to a comic book, and all of a sudden when that comic book ends, through cancellation or something. But like I said, when that comic book ends through cancellation or something, all of a sudden, something new pops up. Or instead, you expect to get refunded. Now, for a lot of you that know this, that have followed my channel for the past 10 years, for the past going on 11 years this year, and I do appreciate that. As a lot of you know, basically, I've been a subscriber to the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book published by Archie Comics since around late 98, early 99. And even though I've had my ups and downs trying to keep my subscription intact, even going as far as to call them up on the phone, send, pocket change, if you will, in the mail, stuff like that. I've never had a real issue with them. I mean, sure, they've been delayed at times when it comes to the comics. They've been delayed at times. At what they do. At getting the comics out to the readers. And I do apologize for any noise you heard there. I was getting myself some coffee to wake up. I kind of napped a little bit today. It's good. But anyway, like I was saying, basically I've never had a real issue with the Archie comics. Like I said, they would be delayed at times and all that. Like I said, they would be delayed at times, and fortunately, when I would email them, talk to them, whatever, they would tell me the reason, as they would any other, as well as anyone other of their subscribers. Well, anyway, as we all know, around 2016, 2016-17, mostly 2017, the Archie Comics license with Sonic ran out. In other words, the comic book was canceled. Now, what was funny about this is they had just completed the Shattered World Crisis arc. This arc was probably the longest arc they've had, because it had various subplots and sub-arcs throughout, even going as far as to expand into the Sonic Universe comic book spin-off. So, imagine my frustration that this arc, that also included a follow-up, a sequel to the first Sonic Mega Man crossover. Imagine my frustration, my anger, and my disappointment, like everybody else, when I find out that the comics are being pulled. Because like anybody that subscribed to the comic, I noticed right off the bat that something was not right. Because the comics kept getting delayed and delayed. And when I would get an issue, it'd be so far from its release. It would be so behind on release date or whatever, and it'd just be very sporadical. Now, What happened next, according to from what we all know, was what we felt inevitably going to happen. Every year, or every time a license, or it came, every year, or every time it came to renew the license, we always were wondering, okay, is it going to remain under the Archie Comics logo? Or under the Archie Comics household? Is it going to remain there? And true, we would get delays at times because of that. There'd be no doubt. But usually those delays would be null and voided because we would get word that Archie would have renewed the license for another year or so. So when they finally didn't do it, you would think, being a major published comic, a major independent, not a DC, not a Marvel, but a major independent, probably the major independent comic book publisher out there, that they would do the right thing and refund everybody their money, or at least what they owed them for the remaining issues. Well, here's what they did instead. And I sent 2 of these issues to Linkara as part of his P.O. Box unboxing because I didn't really need them. But here's what they did instead. They sent me 10 issues of the Mighty... They sent me this. They sent me basically about 4 to 5 issues of the Mighty Crusaders that was a classic title that they revived under their Dark Circle lineup, or Dark Circle division. Then, on top of that, they sent me 2 issues of Archie's Super Teens crossing over with the Crusaders. And then they sent me all 5 parts, unless there's more, of the crossover of Batman 66 meets Archie. Now, I have no problem with Batman 66 meets Archie, believe me. I'm sure Bob Show would really love that issue, or that comic. But the point is, instead of sending me those 11 issues, because I have 9 on me right now. Like I said, I sent 2 to Linkara. So instead of sending me those 11 issues, they should have just refunded me for those 11 remaining months. Because the subscription I went with in my renewal was basically 24 months, 2 years. So they should have refunded me for the remainder of those 11 months. Just like they should have refunded anybody else for the remainder of their subscription on the Sonic the Hedgehog comic. But they didn't. Instead, to compensate, they decided that instead of refunding, they would send these comics. Now, again, I ask you, what sense does that make? What sense does that make? To me, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I asked this question to Linkara, Louis Lovehog, and Vega during the P.O. Box unboxing one time. And Linkara basically said the straight up truth. It's about money. And here's what's funny. When I heard Louis say that, I said to myself, Louis, you're right. It is about money, but it shouldn't be. And I could tell right there Linkara basically agrees that instead of doing what they did, sending issues in place of what you were supposed to get, or I was supposed to get, then instead they should have just refunded. Now, I'm not sure if Linkara or Vega have ever gone through something like that in the past, but I will tell you this, and I'll be totally honest with you guys. I'll be totally honest. If Archie Comics or any comic book publisher, major, well-renowned, or independent, it was to pull something like that today, people would be on their butts quicker than you know what on rice. The point is, if you want to keep good customer relationships, no matter what the situation, then you're supposed to please the customer. And if you have to come out and tell your subscribers to one comic that comic that they are currently subscribed to is going to be canceled, then what you need to do is also let them know that you're going to refund them for the money that was not spent. That's what you need to do. You don't need to basically give them some kind of severance package in your own way by saying, here, to make up for that, we're going to give you the first 4 issues of our newly revived modern take on a classic series called The Crusaders. Here, we're going to give you 2 issues, a 2-part issue series of a crossover between Archie Super Teens and The Crusaders. And here, to round it up, we're going to give you the crossover of Batman 66 and Archie. Now, like I said, I'm pretty sure people wouldn't mind the later one, the Batman and Archie crossover, but the point is, even with that being part of the severance package, if you will, or the complimentary package to make up for the issues that the people did not get, even with those issues, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm being honest with you guys. What I should say is I'm being honest with you guys, because this is, as you can probably tell right off the fly, this is a straight up shoot. No non-scripted or anything. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, comic book publishers of any kind, if they have the license to a major franchise, whether it's Sonic, whether it's MLP, Transformers, Disney, G.I. Joe, any kind of manga or anime title, it doesn't matter. If you're going to end up not renewing the license to publish comics based on that franchise, and you're going to cancel the comic book straight up, then maybe what you should do, instead of going out and saying, hey, instead of refunding you your money, here, we'll just give you a severance package or a complimentary package of comics you did not ask for to make up for the issues you didn't get. What they need to do, and this is the truth, what they need to do, or what they should have done, and what they need to still do in the future if this ever happens again. And it's not just Archie, it could be Image, it could be IDW, it could be Dark Horse, it could be whoever. It could be Boom Studios, whoever. What they need to do in the future is, if they're going to cancel a comic, if they're not going to renew the license, I should say, on a franchise that's being adapted into a comic book that they're publishing, then what they need to do, honestly, is refund the people and not try to say, and not try to come up with a stupid idea. Maybe it's not so stupid in the eyes of some, but still, come up with the lazy idea of saying, we could either refund them, or we could just send them these issues to make up for that. And I'll be honest with you, here's what's crazy. Here's the crazy situation too. Be totally honest with you, alright? If I was Archie Comics, and I decided I was not going to renew the license because of a falling out with Sega, but then I hear that I hear that the license is going to be picked up by IDW, a publisher that I'm very familiar with if I'm Archie Comics, because they did the same thing with Ninja Turtles I should say, and oh, by the way, they just finished completing and releasing multiple graphic novel volumes, collection volumes, if you will, of the Ninja Turtle Adventures comic in collectible form, graphic novel collectible form. So if I'm the people at Archie Comics and it becomes a mutual agreement to kind of part ways with the people we got the license from to publish a comic book based on the character, then maybe what I should do, knowing that, oh, they're going to make a deal with somebody else, and oh, they're going to make a deal with IDW, or as soon as I hear that, here's what I do. I call up Sega, I call up IDW, and I say, look, we've got all these people that are currently still subscribed to the Sonic comic book on our end. How about we transfer those subscriptions over to you guys, and they can continue their subscriptions through you, and instead of us sending them comics they may or not be interested in or may not want, they could just continue the subscription with you guys by getting the first how many issues that remained on the Archie subscription of the IDW comic. Like for me, since I had about, 11 issues remaining, they could have sent me, if they would have done it like that, they could have easily sent me the first 11 issues of IDW Sonic. You know, I would have given, and you know what? I would have given it a chance if they'd done that, because at least I know I would be getting it every month. Or in the case of the first 4 issues, every week. But in the end, guys, in the end, I should say, that makes a lot more sense. That's a better business strategy that they could have gone with and should have gone with. Instead of doing this. Instead of just saying, you know what? We're just going to send you these comics to make up for what we couldn't give to you originally. And like I said, besides the latter part of it, which was the Batman 66 Archie comics, or the Batman 66 Archie crossover, everything else are comics I did not want. Okay? I mean, look, Archie Comics Publications, Entertainment, whatever you want to call them, is doing fine with Riverdale. They got a big hit there. But the point that I'm getting, but besides a few bright spots with Riverdale, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, what have you, still, in the end, Archie Comics, if they want to keep people satisfied, they want to keep the customers happy, they want to have people keep coming back to them, then they need to basically, and this is the truth, they need to do what's right. They need to either refund people's monies for the issues that they're not going to get that remained on the subscriptions if a comic is canceled or the license to a comic is not renewed and the partnership between both sides is over, or in the case of Sonic, make a deal, an agreement with IDW and Sega to continue those people's subscriptions over at IDW, so that way you can actually send out your new comic to established readers and established and current subscribers of the original comic to give it a look-see and give their thoughts on it, because everybody knows subscribers get the comics first in the mail. Most times. But anyway, guys, what you're seeing here, hopefully, is the fact that this, like I said, the later part, I don't have a problem with. I know someone like Bob's Show, Rob Thomas, wouldn't have a problem with. But everything else, it's like, come on, seriously. It shouldn't be about, money. If you want, like I said, if you want to keep your consumers happy, you need to listen to them. You need to do what's right. And if refunding what remained on the subscription money-wise to them, refunding the money that remained on the subscription back into the account, knowing they might need even just a little bit of whatever that was, possibly, that's the right move to make. Not keep the money of the subscription and just decide, hey, we'll send these comics instead. But anyway, I just thought I'd come out and talk about that, let you guys know exactly what happened in the end when it came to my final run subscription-wise with Archie Comics and the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books under their name, and what they did to try to make up for that. So let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if any of this has happened to you, and I'll talk to y'all later.